We're heading to North East London and Pressure Drop for their Journeyman. This is a New England IPA coming in at 6.8%. It's a big hitter, but what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to Pressure Drop. Now, Pressure Drop, one of those breweries that I was drinking quite a lot of stuff from them back in last year, 2021, maybe even 2020. They make really good New England IPAs and New England Pales. But it seems like, I think it's been at least 6 months since I've had a beer from them. But in the last order that I did, which seems like a while ago, it's taken me a while to get through these beers this month. I just thought I'm going to definitely pick up a Pressure Drop. And this is a New England IPA with Galaxy, Idaho 7, Equinox and HBC 586. That experimental hop that hasn't got a proper name yet. So 6.8%, high end of the New England IPA. Let's crack this can open, get it in a glass, and see if it's up to their sort of usual very good standards. I mean, I think the last one I had from them was Karate, even, and that was pretty good. So beer in a glass. Well, for a New England IPA, yeah, you've got a slight haze on that, but it's not thick and murky. It's very, very light looking. There's a lot of carbonation. You can see that sticking to the glass, moving up, and it's a very, very frothy, literally a one finger of head there. So I think this is going to be quite a lighter version of a New England IPA than the sort of normal stuff. Let's see what the aroma's like. Yeah, it's very lacking in aroma. A little bit of citrus fruits, but that's about it. I think this is going to be a bit different. So, cheers everyone. Yeah, very different. I think it's that Equinox. Equinox can bring a little bit of more sort of pininess to it, and it's definitely a lot lighter and thinner for a 6.8% IPA. In fact, it's probably one of the thinnest IPAs that I've had for a long time. It's got this real sort of piney, almost green freshness about it. It's that Equinox hop is like, I think it's quite strong. Pine, something else that's like nagging at me what it is, but it's not a real fruity, juicy sort of beer. It's much more different. You can always taste there's definitely a little bit of hop burn on there. So you get, I suppose, a little bit of maybe grapefruit. I think it's grapefruit. You're getting a lot of grapefruit on the front end. For a New England IPA, that's quite strange, really. I'm getting grapefruit and pine. And it's, that is not the sort of thing you expect from a New England IPA. And as I say, it's quite light, and it's got a sort of very light sort of mouthfeel as well. Beer in a glass now as well. I've poured it a couple of times now. There's very little in terms of like body there. A sliver, if nothing, of head. Yeah, I'm not really enjoying it because as soon as you drink it, you get this sort of grapefruit pininess. Almost a little bit of perfumey sort of flavour. And there's a real sharpness of sort of almost sharp bitterness of the grapefruit rind, a little bit of lime in there as well. But it's, for a New England IPA, it's a very, very different. It's not gloopy and thick. It's not creamy. It's not smooth. It's prickly a little bit in its sort of mouthfeel. But for me, I just think it's that Equinox. I think it's the Equinox. You don't go into a New England IPA and the first thing you taste is like real sharp grapefruit. It's definitely a yellow grapefruit. It's not like a slightly sweeter pink one. It's definitely a grapefruit. And then that sort of goes into a sort of a little bit of other citruses, lemons, and the sharpness of lime. And then it goes into sort of like this piney sort of earthiness. And it's light, and it's all about grapefruit for me. It's very, very grapefruity. And as much as, you know, grapefruit is a nice flavour, and it is a flavour that you will get with New England IPAs. Usually you get this big juice at the front end of a New England IPA. You get the pineapple, you get the sort of citrus fruits, and then the sort of grapefruit back end. It comes in at the end, back end sort of side. And that just sort of rounds the beer off. But with this, it's front, middle, and end in terms of the beer. I'm not enjoying it. I think it's probably one of the worst pressure drop beers I've had. I think it's the lightness of it. It's the thinness of the mouthfeel. It's the sharpness and the slight bitter pininess of the upfront flavour. Yeah, I think I've tasted enough though. I'm ready for some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Pressure Drop's Journeyman. This is Pressure Drop. They're based in North East London, in Tottenham Hale. Yeah, maybe that's why the beer's not so good, you know, because like nobody likes Tottenham, do they? No. Okay, we'll skip across that. But this is. I'm very disappointed. It's not your typical New England IPA. It's not thick and juicy. It's not got that creamy mouthfeel. It's not got the sort of big tropical flavours with a sort of citrus flavours in it as well. It's very grapefruity. But let's go through the scores. So firstly, aroma. Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely an aroma there, but it's not exactly inviting. There's a little bit of citrus fruits and grapefruit. But there's a lot of piney earthiness there. It's not the sort of aroma I would expect from a New England IPA. I'm giving it 12 for aroma. Appearance-wise, well, like, I'm disappointed with that as well. For a New England IPA, it's almost, I've seen thicker pale ales than that. It's got a haze to it. You know, you can't see my face through that beer, but it's very light, and there's no head on it at all. Look at it. I mean, it's lifeless. So I'm a little disappointed with the appearance as well. 6 I'm giving to appearance. Flavour, I'm also very disappointed with the flavour. So as soon as you drink this, you get a real sharp grapefruit flavour. Then it sort of goes into a piney sort of flavour. And for a New England IPA, that's the stuff that comes at the end, not at the beginning. But this is grapefruit from the start to the end, you know. It's a little bit of a one-trick pony. Considering we've got 4 different hops. We've got Galaxy, Idaho 7, Equinox, and the HBC 586, which I always find that HBC 586 really sort of, you know, trips off the tongue as a sort of name. Has grapefruit and citrus fruit flavours. It's almost like a sort of a cousin to Citra for me. But Equinox, pine needles, grapefruit, bitterness, dominant in this beer. I think that Equinox is dominant because you don't see it that much in New England IPAs. And so when it does appear, you think, yeah, it's over-dominated. I'm not really picking up things from Galaxy and Idaho. And Galaxy brings sort of that sort of dank tropical stone fruits, and Idaho 7 brings pineapple. I'm not really picking up any of that sort of stuff. So flavour-wise, it's very sort of grapefruity and piney right from the beginning to the end. It's light, it's very thin, 6.8%, but it's a really, really thin New England IPA. So it's disappointing. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm giving it 29 for flavour. For a New England IPA, that's a low score. Value for money. Well, Pressure Drop, they're reasonably priced. They're not like overly priced. I think this one was about a £5. It's expensive for the beer that is not great. So I'm going to get 7 for value. I mean, it's still 6.8%. There's 4 different hops in it. But it's not the greatest of New England IPAs. And Pressure Drop do very good New England IPAs. I'm disappointed with it. 7 for value. And my overall experience, well, don't get me wrong, I like grapefruit flavours. But when the grapefruit is right up front, and then it goes into a pininess. There's a little bit of element of sort of lemons and limes in there as well, but grapefruit is so strong and dominant. That Equinox hop is massive. You know, you might as well just say Equinox hop because I'm not getting much from the rest. Equinox is a real grapefruity, piney sort of flavour, and you're getting this right from the beginning of this beer. And I think the other reason is it's you know, looking at it now, it just looks a bit dead, and it's flat. Not flat. It's not flat in terms of its carbonation, but it's just it looks lacking in life, basically. So I'm giving it 10 for overall experience. There's a low score as well. Totting them up, we get 64. I don't think I've had a bottle shop beer that's that low. And it's a New England IPA, my favourite style, you know. So I'm always a little bit sort of overly. I probably boost the scores up a few more points than probably most other reviewers do, because I'm a massive fan of New England IPAs. But this, to me, is a very disappointed New England IPA. So I know Pressure Drop can do better. It's not going to be put me off. And for another 6 months, I'm going to buy another Pressure Drop beer because I think they do make good New England IPAs. But you know, actually, when I think back, I think they're a little bit hit and miss. You know, I remember having one that was like quite 7.2 or 7.4%, and it wasn't good. But I do remember that Karate one being very good. So I don't know. Pressure Drop, they do make good beers. They do make New England IPAs and New England Pales that are usually good. But this one is not one of their best. So if you see Journeyman, give it a swerve, because 64 is a very poor score. It's the sort of score I give to like Beer 52 and supermarket beers, not bottle shop beers that I will go out of my way to want because it's a New England IPA. So 64, sorry Pressure Drop, not great. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope that's going to sort of give you that you realise that as much as I love New England IPAs, I'm not overly biased. If I have a bad one, I will tell you about it. And this one is a little bit of a bad one for me. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and you get something from it, and you think, right, I'm going to make an informed decision and not buy this one or buy another New England. There's hundreds of New England IPAs. Everyone does them. They're great, you know, and really, generally they are really good. But this one is one of the poorest I've had for a long time. So until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.